All right, men, welcome to today's episode of Strong Men, Strong Marriages. How to stop being tired of working on your marriage. So, if you are trying to improve your marriage, it is hard work. It is hard work to do the mental and emotional, spiritual work to try to improve your marriage. So, sometimes that gets tiring. And so, what we're going to talk about today is how to stop being tired, what's behind that, and how we can continue to work on ourselves and our marriage in a way that doesn't feel as tiring, feels empowering. So my name is Mike Frazier, MD. I'm a psychiatrist and marriage coach. I help high-achieving Christian men have more intimate marriages. So some wins from guys in the program. So wives, man, this is just so fun. I get to talk to the wives of the guys in the program every now and then, and wives are just noticing their husbands being completely different in just a few weeks, like total shift. It's so fun to see, and that even motivating them to want to do work as well, to try to kind of match the energy their husband's bringing into the marriage. So again, like being a leader means you start doing the things that you believe and know are right. You start building the strengths and skills we're going to talk about today. And that can then motivate the other person to change. If you're just waiting forever, oh, like my wife needs to change, she doesn't do enough, then you're stuck and you're not being a leader, you're being whiny, and just doesn't get you anywhere productive. So if you take responsibility and ownership, it invites her to do the same. Guys are finding increased self-confidence, increased self-worth. A lot of us as high-achieving men, we're kind of hiding that behind that. We feel kind of like we're not enough, like we're not good enough, we're not achieving enough. We kind of beat ourselves up for our past mistakes. So guys are overcoming that and having that self-confidence and self-worth and feeling great, which is more attractive and feels better. Guys are standing true to their boundaries and standing up for themselves in their marriage. Instead of just backing down, happy wife, happy life, doing whatever their wife wants, they're starting to speak up for themselves in a way that's productive and effective. Okay. Guys are being honest about their mistakes, their past mistakes. Sometimes guys hide things. They come into the program, they haven't told their wife about some problems that they've had in the past. So guys are stepping into honesty. They're sharing that. Their wives, sure, are maybe upset at first, but then they respect it and they appreciate that, and it builds trust. So guys are experiencing that as well. So for me, just had a really good week with Elizabeth. Really felt connected in all ways. It just was nice. Good connected week. So, but what are you trying now? So right now we're talking about working hard on the marriage. So if you can identify with this, yeah, I'm working hard. I'm listening to podcasts, I'm listening to this podcast, I'm reading books, I'm, trying to change. Maybe I'm going to individual therapy. Like I'm doing everything I can, maybe even in my program, doing the work there. And you just are maybe starting to feel tired of doing all this work. You're like, man, this is really hard work, or man, it's just too hard to keep doing. And you start wondering, man, when is this going to pay off? Or is it ever going to pay off? Or you think, man, it's just taking way too long. I've put in all this work and I'm not seeing any results. What's the point? Okay. You start wondering, hey, when is it going to be my wife's turn to do something? When is she going to start actually making some changes? Look at what I'm doing here. I'm doing all this work. When is she going to actually do something? So you start thinking, hey, I'm doing a lot more than my wife here, and that's not fair. Right? So these are all understandable. These are all things I've heard from guys. These are all things I used to think myself. So the problem is thinking this way generates certain feelings for you and certain actions that you take. So when you start thinking the work is too hard or it's just hard, you tend to avoid it. You tend to not really embrace doing that work because you're like, man, this is really hard. As humans, we try to avoid pain for the most part, and it is uncomfortable to do the work to build up your spiritual, mental, emotional, and sexual strength. So, but when when you're like, oh, this is so hard and it's too hard, you just get demotivated. You don't really want to go put in that work. So then if you start thinking, man, I'm doing so much more than my wife, you start feeling superior to her. You start feeling resentful towards her. Then when you start thinking, man, it's taking so long, you start feeling impatient about the process. So again, you start feeling overwhelmed, you start feeling demotivated, you start feeling impatient, you start feeling resentful. All those feelings, first of all, don't feel good, but second of all, they're very unattractive. If you're walking around as an overwhelmed, impatient, resentful man, your wife doesn't really want to be around that. So The other thing that you'll do though, when you think it's too hard, is you're just going to avoid doing the work and figure it's her turn. Like, hey, look, I put in a lot of work here. Now it's your turn. What are you going to do? Okay. Sometimes that can be done in a way that's a good invitation. We teach this in the program. How do you ask for what you want effectively? But what we're talking about here is just kind of like, I put in my work. I'm done. Now it's your turn. That does not tend to go over well. So these are all their unattractive patterns. Again, thinking it's too hard, avoiding the work, thinking you're doing more than her, getting resentful, thinking it's taking too long, getting impatient. It's unattractive. It's going to push her away instead of attracting her to you. So what do you need to do instead? What you need to do instead is to start off with just like the results more than you like the process. Like the results more than you like the process. So most people that are in good physical shape, okay, like strong, you can tell they go to the gym and work out. Most people don't really love exercising every day. Okay, there's days, sure, they do, they're excited. There's days when they don't really feel like it, they don't really want to do it. Okay? But they like the results of having a strong body more than they dislike that process of going to the gym and working out. Okay, they're like, okay, the gain is worth the pain. I don't feel like going through this pain today, but the gain is worth it. And so they go do it. Because again, they like the results more than they like the process of going there. So, or people that need to stick to a certain diet, which is most people to be in the shape they want to be in. Most people don't love having to avoid sweets or sticking to a diet or avoiding greasy or fatty foods. Maybe they don't really like that, at least not every day. There's certain days they're like, man, yeah, I wish I could have a french fry or a piece of cake or whatever. But they like the results of having a healthy body more than they dislike that process, that pain of having to kind of deny themselves some of these other sweets and treats and things like that. So again, liking the results more than you like the process. Understanding, okay, like this, there is a price. There is a price to having a healthy body. There is a price to having a strong body. There is a price to having a strong marriage. There's a price to pay. There's effort to be made to do it. So you can just say, hey, look, you know what? There is going to be some pain involved with it. And I don't necessarily like that, but I like the result of having a great marriage better. The other thing we're going to talk about, though, is shifting what your actual goal is. Because if your goal is for your wife to change, to respond to you better, to all of that, right? You're going to have an issue because you're going to become manipulative and you're going to get burnt out of this process really fast. Versus if you shift your goal to, look, I'm doing this because I want to build my spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and sexual strength. That's why I'm doing it. And I want to build up my skill in communication intimacy. I want to become a more skilled, stronger, more Christ-like man. That's why I'm doing this. Okay. Is there going to be pains to go through to do it? Absolutely. Is it worth it to be a man that's strong and skilled in those areas, to set a great example to my kids, just be that man no matter what my wife does? Absolutely. So yeah, I may not love the process, the work that I have to put in, but I love those results so much that it's worth it. Okay. Eventually, though, where you want to try to get is where you can actually enjoy the process. Okay. There's this saying, embrace the suck. And it's true. For building strength and skill, there will always be sucky parts. There will always be hard parts. There will always be difficulty. Okay. This is why a lot of people don't end up doing it. They don't end up building strength. They end up overweight and not strong in all areas because it does take work and it is pain and people tend to avoid pain. But if you can get to where either, to start off with, say, hey, look, I don't really like the pain of that, but I love the results. So it's worth the pain. Or if you can get to where you can say, hey, you know what, this pain is part of the process, and start to actually embrace it and enjoy it and say, yeah, look, this pain is necessary for the gain. And so I like going through this pain. I like putting in this effort. Okay, that's when you really have won the game, because then your wife can't really affect you. Okay, then it doesn't seem super hard and overwhelming anymore. It's just like, yeah, this is part of the process. I'm trying to get stronger, become more Christ-like man. Yeah, there's going to be hard parts about that. Bring it on. That's what I want. Okay. It's one of the guys in the program recently called it a mentally emotional workout, and it really is. And so if you can look forward to that workout, okay, my wife's saying negative things to me again. Okay, this is my chance. This is my mentally emotional and spiritual workout. Here it comes. Okay, we teach you how to be prepared for that in the program so that you're ready when that happens. But again, that preparation, that's the work. That's the work you put in. So if you can do that, again, you have won. If you can say, look, I'm committed to building up my spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and sexual strength. I'm committed to building up my communication intimacy skills. A lot of people can understand that to build a strong body, yeah, you're going to have to do some exercise that's uncomfortable and have a diet that's uncomfortable. What a lot of people don't understand is to build that spiritual, mental, emotional strength, to build communication intimacy skills, it's also uncomfortable. There's going to be some pain associated with it when we're building those strengths and skills. So you can just get that through your mind, like, okay, just like I build physical strength, it takes some pain, it takes some effort. Okay, same thing here. It's going to be painful, but I can accept that. It's going to be uncomfortable. I can accept that. That's part of the strength building process. Just like your muscles have to break a little bit, then rebuild. Yeah, mentally, emotionally, you're going to have to break a little bit. It's going to be hard, but then you rebuild after stronger, right? So again, it will be much easier to do this if you make your main outcome having nothing really to do with your wife. Because if you're doing all this, oh, like I got to do this work so my wife will love me. I got to do this work so she'll have sex with me. Hey, it won't work. It just won't, because you'll get too tired. You'll get burnt out. Hey, here I go again. I'm trying to do everything. She's not responding. This is too much. It's too much work. It's too hard. Versus, hey, whatever she does, I'm building strength. She doesn't have an effect on you, really. Her actions don't have that much effect. And again, it's a paradox, but that is way more attractive to her. Okay, when you're not as thrown off by all her moods, but you can stay solid and strong and use the skills that you've had, you feel great, and it's way more attractive to her. Okay, so don't make doing this work about your wife. Don't make it about her having sex with you, ending her affair, or forgiving you after an affair. Don't make it about any of that. Make it about you increasing your mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual strength and improving your communication and intimacy skills. Why are you doing that? Because that's who you want to be as a man. That's who you believe God wants you to be. This is about becoming a more Christ-like man. Again, this is the paradox in this. When you just commit to it, you're like, yeah, I'm embracing there's going to be hard points in this. I'm going to go through some difficulties. Yeah, great. That's how I build strength. Okay? And it's not about her. It's just about you becoming a better man, more skilled and stronger, more skilled man. Your wife's way more attracted to that, promise. Okay. So again, if you make strength and skill training your goal, you see the challenges as an opportunity to build strength and skill. It's like you walk into that conversation. It's like, okay, yeah, this is adding 5 pounds to the bench press. Let's do it. Okay. It's time to build some strength. I might fail. Yeah, maybe, but I'm going to learn from that and come back and be ready for the next one. Okay. So again, when you see this as building strength and skill, you see all these as opportunities to build that strength and skill. And again, to start off with, you can just like the results of being a stronger, more Christ-like man better than you like the work to get there. You're like, look, I don't really like going through this, but listen, it's worth it. It's worth becoming a stronger, more Christ-like man, more skilled man. And eventually you can start liking the work that it takes to get there. Eventually you can transition into, okay, yeah, here we go. It's going to be a tough conversation. Great. Like, this is how I get stronger mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. My wife said no to sex. Okay, this is a chance to practice what I just learned, and here we go, right? So Isaiah 41:10 in the New International Version says, "See, I have refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction." And guys, this is how God works with us. He does put us through trials. So if we can either, kind of see that as, okay, like I don't love going through the furnace, but I do love being refined and being more of who God wants me to be, great. If you can get to where you jump into the furnace and you're like, yeah, awesome, let's go. I want to be refined. Okay, that's when you really have won and you have gotten to where, I mean, that's the ultimate strength, right? Like, if you can really embrace that idea of, okay, these difficult conversations, great, bring it on. This is how I'm building strength, right? All these difficult things that come up. Okay, my wife's talking to this other guy. Great. This is a chance for me to really build up my strength and skill, figure out my own boundaries around this. Awesome. I'm going to step into this as an opportunity to build strength. Now, a lot of times it's hard to jump straight there. So again, you can like the results more. Also, with stuff like that, that's really hard. Understand, yeah, it's okay for me to feel sad about this, and kind of the same idea though, like just embrace being sad instead of saying, "Oh well, I'm lame if I feel sad about this. I should just be strong." Just saying like, "Yeah, I feel sad. Let that come. It's normal to be sad if my wife's talking to some other guy or if she's saying no to sex. Yeah, I'm going to embrace that that is sad because that actually is part of building emotional strength, emotional resilience, being able to feel these emotions without acting in a way that's contrary to who you want to be and who God wants you to be. So, a little nuance, but we get into that a lot in the program, which we'd love you to come join. So, if you're tired of working hard in your marriage, you're probably making some common mistakes. So, one is choosing the wrong goal, which is winning her back in some kind of way. As soon as you do that, it really leads to you being impatient, to feeling superior to her, to deciding it's too hard because I'm not getting the results, versus saying, look, this is strength and skill building. And the process to that is coming in, facing challenges, getting better. That's how you build strength and skill, period. So, when you see it that way, now, yeah, it's not that big a deal. Okay. It's just, yeah, I'm here to build strength and skill. And my wife, what she throws at me, the great things, great. I'm going to celebrate them. The hard things, great. I'm going to use those as a chance to build my strength and skill. Without resistance, you can't build strength. You just can't. Okay. If you go to the gym and all you do is stand there, you're never going to build any kind of strength. Okay. You have to put resistance against your muscles to build strength. Same thing with spiritual, mental, emotional, sexual strength. Okay, you need resistance. You actually need things to be difficult. You need your wife to throw you stuff that's not very easy for you. That's how you get stronger. There's not another way. Okay, so once you accept that desired result of, okay, I want to be stronger, I want to build my strength and skill, then you can start to like that result more than the pain of building those strengths and skills, of saying, hey, look, yeah, I don't love when my wife says these tough things to me or when she does things that upset me, but I like being a stronger man more than I dislike going through that pain. Like I'm willing to have that pain to get that gain. And then eventually you can come to enjoy and even embrace the necessary pain for the gain of saying, hey, look, yeah, this is a workout. I'm going to go do it. Okay. I can enjoy that workout. I can enjoy the pain to some extent because I know it's helping me build strength. So if you want to come in, you want to learn the exact exercises you need to build spiritual, mental, emotional, and sexual strength. Okay, to build your communication intimacy skills. That's exactly what we're going to teach you. We're going to teach you the skills, then you're going to go out and practice them. You're going to get feedback from us, and you're going to become a stronger, more Christ-like man, period. That's just what happens if you come in and do the program. At this point, the program's evolved to where I can say that with complete confidence. If you come in, you do the work, you will come out completely different man in 90 days. You're going to be spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and even physically and sexually stronger because of the things we have you do and commit to in the program. You're going to be much more skilled at communication, intimacy. It's just what's going to happen. So come join us in Strong Men, Strong Marriages. Visit strongmenstrongmarriages.com, click work with me, or visit the link in the show notes, and we will see you there. All right, stay strong, men, and we will see you next episode.